Some of you are not going to like this at all. If there's one smartphone comparison that is guaranteed to set the comments down below on fire, it is the comparison between, where are they? The iPhone 15 Pro Max and the S24 Ultra. If you say that one of these is better than the other, the people who, well not all of them, but some of the people who like the other one will literally set their trousers on fire. I have no idea why, it doesn't make any sense to me. These are smartphones, not football teams, but regardless, I'm going to stoke that fire. Although please don't literally set your trousers on fire, you know what I mean. I just want to tell you what I think is best out of the most important aspects about these two devices. You may not agree with me, you may think I need to do more rigorous testing or research, but everything you're about to hear is an opinion. Please keep that in mind before you set your own trousers on fire and, well, let's get into it. This video is sponsored by Pitaka. This is the new Mag Easy Case 4 for the S24 Ultra. It's available in 3 designs, Black, Moonrise and Sunset. And yes, if you're wondering, they do have the same version of this case for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. That is called the Mag Easy Case 5. It's made from aramid fibre, and you can expect the usual loveliness from Pitaka when it comes to combining lightweight with a confident grip, gorgeous looks and amazing protection for your brand new expensive S24 Ultra. Pitaka really is the pioneer of aramid fibre cases, and they're the leading brand that utilises fusion weaving technology to enhance the possibilities of this material. I've used Pitaka cases extensively on all of my Samsung S devices, and trust me, they look fantastic, they feel brilliant, and they give you that real confidence that if you drop your phone, if the worst happens, it's going to be okay. And on the Mag Easy Case 4, there's also a recycled aramid fibre camera lip, which protects those all-important lenses. And one of the best things about these Mag Easy cases is that they are MagSafe compatible, so you can effectively turn your S24 Ultra into a MagSafe device. So just like iPhone users, Samsung users can enjoy the snap and go and snap and charge experience. These are just some of the reasons Pitaka has sold over 1 million phone cases worldwide. To find out more, just click that link below. Okay, let's start with pricing, because that is quite interesting. If you buy the base model version of either of these phones, the S24 Ultra is 50 quid more expensive than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but that's for the 256 gig version, and let's be honest, if you're buying a flagship smartphone like this with all of the photographic and video capabilities they have, you need more storage. And that's where it gets interesting, because if you go for the 512 or the 1TB version, the S24 Ultra is suddenly 50 quid cheaper than the iPhone. So in most cases, this is the more affordable phone, if you can call it that, and Samsung, generally speaking, has better trade-in values, and depending on when you order this, you tend to get a few nice freebies and discounted extras thrown in. You never get that with Apple. This is going to be a slightly unusual video because I'm going home now to wait for a Vision Pro delivery. Yes, I'm in the UK and I've somehow got Vision Pro. If you don't want to miss that video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell down below. But let's crack on with this particular comparison and talk about titanium. I still think the iPhone Pro Max is the most impressive flagship smartphone when it comes to sheer presence. It just looks like a solid piece of titanium that's been carved out of the rock of iPhone on planet Apple. To own one, you probably need to drive a Porsche and go to those fancy dinner parties where they walk around with shiny trays containing weird little pieces of food. You probably still need to listen to Katie Melua. The switch to titanium was absolutely inspired. It's lighter than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but I still prefer the look of the S24 Ultra. And this one is orange. Look at it. It's kind of burnt orange, but I just love this thing. And no, I don't care who chose titanium first and who copied who, and who cares? Hold on to those trousers. I think the S24 Ultra has the best display on the market. Since publishing my 2-week review of the S24 Ultra, I've been told by lots of people that technically this isn't the best smartphone display on the market. And they give me loads of reasons why that's the case, but I just don't care. This is completely subjective, but I just think the S24 Ultra's display is better than the iPhone 15 Pro Max's. To me, it looks sharper, it's more vibrant, and it's more immersive because you don't get a monkey island on this. You get that pinhole camera, you get squared off edges, it really draws you in. And no, I don't have this washed out color thing that people keep talking about. So if you buy an S24 Ultra and you look at it and think the colors are washed out and terrible, have a chat with Samsung, because it sounds to me like you've got a defective unit. Remember, this is just an opinion. I'm not basing this on technical specifications about the S24 Ultra display. I just love it. Let's talk about the camera system, and I'm not going to show you side-by-side comparisons between these two phones because everyone has done that already, and again, this is massively subjective. Instead, I'll show you my favourite photos taken on both of these phones. The iPhone's camera system is still slightly more reliable, but the margin between that is no longer as big as it was between the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the S23 Ultra. The S24 Ultra now has a really good fast shutter, so if you're taking photos of your dog or your kid, it works. The iPhone just gets it right a little bit more often. But the S24 Ultra has this almost pixel-like quality to the images these days, which really gets my vote. If you didn't know, I'm a massive pixel photography fan. But they both have superb camera systems. They both take wonderful photos, as you can see from these examples. The one that you prefer will completely come down to personal preference. For instance, my podcast co-host Rob, if you haven't checked out the 8 or 16 podcast yet, guys, the link is down below. But he prefers the natural tones of the iPhone, which I completely understand. They both have an optical 5x focal length, which I challenge you not to use constantly. You can get some lovely photos on both of these cameras with that 5x zoom. But for me, there's just something about this S24 Ultra camera system, again, a little bit like the Pixel. I think it's the drama that's introduced, it's the look, it's the feel. I just prefer it. Now, if you do want me to do a full comparison between these two camera systems, let me know down below. Now, there's a lot of AI stuff built into the S24 Ultra because we are, according to Samsung, in the era of Galaxy AI. And my experience with artificial intelligence is that you'll either find one or two features that genuinely deliver some kind of benefit for you, or you'll just ignore it completely. So for me, Circle to Search has been genuinely useful. I've found the names of certain locations that I've spotted on Instagram. I've seen things on TV and not known what they are and done a very quick Circle to Search, and it's worked. I also love the fact that I can now take photos through windows, which sounds weird, but for instance, if you go to an airport and you're taking a photo of the runway, which I do quite a lot, 9 times out of 10, I'm in that photo as well as a reflection or someone next to me is. The fact that I can now very easily get rid of that reflection thanks to AI on the S24 Ultra is genuinely handy. And yes, Samsung might start charging for these AI features from 2025 onwards, but at the time of filming, they haven't confirmed anything. And when it comes to AI on the iPhone, it's been behind the scenes for a long time. Basically, Apple will not say AI on stage, ever. But come WWDC this year, we really need to see something. When it comes to performance, you don't feel shortchanged with either of these phones because they feel fast, smooth, and very responsive, as they should. I have noticed one very big difference between these two phones though, and that comes down to the battery performance. I don't know what it is, but the S24 Ultra just seems to last much longer than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it's not because I'm using the S24 Ultra less. If anything, I'm using it more. It's just the biblical standby time that you get on Android 13 devices. We do not talk about this enough. I'm convinced that the iPhone has worse battery life these days. Next up, iOS versus Android. And I can't tell you which one is better out of those two operating systems because one, there's no such thing, it's just an opinion, and two, who cares? iOS has the best ecosystem on the planet. And yes, I know Samsung has its own ecosystem, but Windows. I lost most of the stuff that used to be here because of that operating system. I'm also way too much in love with the Apple Watch Ultra to think about switching to the Watch 6, which is pretty good this year to be fair, but still not a patch on this. Also, and weirdly, the third-party app experience on the iPhone just seems to be better sometimes. There's certain apps, I've made a list of them, Spark Email, Instagram, WhatsApp, and weirdly, YouTube Studio are better on this than they are on this. But having said that, Android and One UI on the S24 Ultra is a really good experience. And I'd argue that it's more fun than iOS. It's just a bit more open, you can tweak it more. I'm not going to say anything more on the matter because it does bore me to tears, but if you want to fight between yourselves in the comments, go for it. It's time for my big conclusion. Okay, so my conclusion is really straightforward. If you are an Apple person and you love the iPhone and you're considering between the... well, you're not, are you? Just buy the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's fantastic. However, if you're not tied to Apple at all, buy this. The S24 Ultra is the best smartphone I've ever used. And if you still need convincing about that and this video makes no sense whatsoever, keep watching for a link to my 2-week review of this phone. Oh, and if you're wondering if Vision Pro arrived, hit that subscribe button.